Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Oh my God, I know. Did you see how mad Trump was outside the courthouse yesterday? Yeah. Oh, it was so fantastic. Yeah. I was going to start crying. He's like, it was like, that's the face of the Republican Party, just this blind rage. Yep. And
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then his reaction to everything that happened in the House yesterday was, well, I'm so glad they were talking about me for Speaker. That was his take. Yeah. Donald Trump's takeaway from everything, the madness and disruption of his own party in the House chamber. His takeaway was, well, I'm glad they're talking about me.
Yeah,
which is, of course, completely predictable.
Dan on Twitter, Bob, said this thing we've been talking about forever. He said, can't believe the creators of the monster have lost control of the monster. Is there any precedent for this in books or film? Yeah. Yeah, it's super. And now we're in action, Bob. Of course, the judge tried a narrow gag order yesterday. Of course, he's still shooting off his mouth. He literally is. That's the feeling I had. He is a monster that is out of control, which is not.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite.
And he is indeed putting on the Ritz.
Yeah, he's talking about the new value that he's concocted in his worm-infested brain. That Mar-a-Lago is now worth $1.3 billion.
Yeah. Oh, no, 1.5.
Yeah,
1.5.
he's up to 1.5 now.
Yeah, it's gone up, Bob.
1.5. You know what's funny about that is Buckingham Palace is worth $1.3 billion. Buckingham Palace. So Mar-a-Lago, that bed-bug-infested nouveau riche gaudy piece of crap in Florida, that's worth about the same as Buckingham Palace. No, sorry.
I love the pictures there's a picture of Buckingham Palace, and it says, Trump, what do you call it? Mar-a-Lago at, bank loan time, and then he's like the Unabomber shack, at tax time, Mar-a-lago at tax time.
Yeah, but Buckingham Palace doesn't have an omelet bar.
That
is true.
That is absolutely true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
There's no classified documents. Well, maybe there are some classified documents.
I'm sure there are.
That must have unamused the Queen to no end. There's still no omelet bar. Corgis, let's go. Bob.
Breaking out the old Queen impression.
People dying do not dissuade me from my impressions, Bob.
The Buckingham Palace doesn't have the Rudy Giuliani underground tunnel. Rudy would take back and forth from Mar-a-Lago, the actual place, to his little bungalow across the street. He'd go under that tunnel. I can't believe that there's a tunnel in Florida. Is there not supposed to be like a basement or tunnels in Florida because
what could go wrong?
The water table and everything? I don't know.
You retweeted John Favreau, who said, I couldn't agree with this more. The don't amplify him argument is disastrous. We need to amplify Trump's vile rhetoric more because it will turn persuadable voters off to his cruel message. And you said, I've been screaming against the don't amplify him nonsense for years. If the Republicans stopped talking about Biden or Clinton or Pelosi because they didn't want to amplify them, would that be good news or bad news for Democrats? No, I'm as sick of him as we're probably more sick of him than everyone else because we marinate in this every day. But you're right. Just when I think there's no new level, can you tell me there's a human that really thinks him saying "How's Nancy Pelosi's husband?" Like really? Is for the most normal people is that going to be a turn on to vote for him?
Well, that's a good word to use, normal, because what happens is I think. And I understand, first of all, I got to say, I understand the repulsion that we experience when we see Donald Trump. We don't want to hear about him anymore. We don't want to see him anymore. Yeah. But, we have to. We kind of have to, because as soon as we start ignoring him and just having him recede into the background, that's when he becomes normalized. That's when we let our guard down. And then I always compare it to this. If the Republicans stopped talking about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, would that be good news or bad news for the Democrats? It would be overwhelmingly good news, of course, to answer my own question.
Yeah.
We would love it if the Republicans stopped attacking our people and just said, hey, you know what? Let's not amplify Hillary Clinton anymore. Let's not amplify Rachel Maddow anymore. Yeah. And of course, then what we would all do is celebrate, because then we could actually start doing things and winning elections and so forth.
Yeah. Bob, here's the
reverse that.
Here's
today the same for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's today's Exhibit A for why we have to, because it's not just him; it's his supporters like this every day.
Treason is treason. There's only one cure for treason.
And what is that?
Being put to death.
Treason. and we used to execute or imprison people for it. And all the treasonous actions I see now in this day and age is just thrown underneath the rug.
I know Trump's feelings about Mark Milley, and I agree. Why was he not before a firing squad within a month?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the reason for gag orders and or prison. Because, you know, by the way, did she call him Frank Milley? Okay.
Whatever.
At least she's too dumb to know his real name, so.
Well, this was part of John Kelly's remarks to CNN in that statement the other day, that Donald Trump is so unpatriotic that he's calling for the execution of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Yeah.
You know, that's how
that's just
far the Republican Party has fallen. Because I remember especially after 9/11, how Republicans branded the idea of supporting the troops. They branded American patriotism. They branded the American flag. I mean, Buzz and I were talking about on the show yesterday how, you know, as Democrats, to put an American flag outside of our house, it's suddenly like, well, are people going to think we're Republicans now? But I mean, that was kind of the thinking in those days and weeks after 9/11.
One of our first drops, remember, Chris, 20 years ago, was taking back the flag, taking back God, taking back America. I mean, you're right. It's just that's a horrible thing that you reflexively go, oh, that must be Trump support. Oh, yes, thank you, Chris.
Taking back God, taking back the flag,
thank you.
Taking back America, and all before breakfast.
It's taken 20 years. We're still working on it.
Yeah.
But
that was Jim.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, and by the way, I will hunt you down for posting that old DJ footage of me for my birthday from
I love that 1980. So much. That is one of my favorite videos in the world. Because
that was my original nose and my original hair, Bob. I will 20 pounds ago. I will kill you.
I love it so much. I love the delivery of it. I love the banter. That whole atmosphere. When I was growing up, I wanted to do that kind of radio so desperately. And that's kind of the formative thing for me, because now I look back and see that kind of radio and I go, you know, that's an art form. That's just a thing that people don't do anymore. And they should.
Thank you, Bob. You know what Chris and I did for you on Monday? We, as you were trained as well. We said it's Rocktober, everybody.
Rocktober.
Happy Rocktober,
getting rocked in Rocktober.
Yeah.
Hey, chance of thunder boomers this afternoon.
Congress just had its own colon blow. They vacated.
Exactly right. That's all I can tell is that this is all about disruption and chaos. Yeah. That's what the whole Republican rodeo clown caucus is all about. That's what they love to do. And you know the side effect of all of this is they can go around saying, see how dysfunctional government is?
Yeah.
And then the news media will come in and say, well, you know, Andrea Mitchell this afternoon will be like, find some way to say,
Congress is
just broken. Democrats are in disarray too. I mean, see what they're doing, I think.
And that was, I got to say, Hakeem Jeffries, we were really had us in array, didn't he? Especially Democrats.
Yeah, how about that?
But I was glad because I knew there was some talk about, you could make a deal and maybe what's after Kevin what is worse or whatever. But I agreed with people that especially after they were saying the dividing line for a lot of Democrats was January 6th. Yep. That, their own house was attacked. They were personally attacked. And the fact that he was such a spineless weasel about that, right. I think, because you're right. Like, why should we? Why should we save him? Right? I mean, it was, and I love it was Pelosi, I think, delivered that blow. She just said, this is, again, what did Karen say? A version of, your circus, your clown, you figure it out. It's not supposed to be Democrats' responsibility.
Yeah. Right. Well, it was a fitting tribute to Nancy Pelosi's ability to keep the entire caucus together, the entire Democratic caucus. The fact that all the Democrats voted to oust Kevin McCarthy yesterday. Yeah. I think all of them did. I'm pretty sure all the Democrats voted in lockstep yesterday, which is great. And that's, of course, the hallmark of Nancy Pelosi's time as Speaker of the House. Yeah. We've got this gigantic tent of Democrats spanning all kinds of ideologies, from the far left to moderate conservatives in the Democratic Party. And Nancy Pelosi was able to hold all those people together and get them to all vote. I mean, there were very few votes where there was one or two dissenters among the Democrats who said, you know what, we've already got this in the bag. We're just going to vote against it anyway. No, she held that entire coalition.
I think it was the whiplash from going from literally the greatest speaker in our history, which I think is going to be undisputed, to the worst speaker, the worst, shortest speakership ever. And by the way,
so ridiculous.
Nash
who
tweeted,
would want that job at this point?
Nope,
I don't know. But the worst job in Washington.
Some stuff you forget. Nash tweeted, remember when McCarthy said, I want you to watch Nancy Pelosi hand me that gavel. It'll be hard not to hit her with it. And then he had it ripped from his evil, greedy hands today. Karma's a real bad bitch. Yep. Remember that was a punchline? Like, hitting an 80-year-old woman with a gavel. That'll be funny. I mean, it just...
horrible.
Yeah.
And that guy who looks like Harry Truman. Who was the guy up there yesterday? The guy
told
who
Nancy
like to
get her
out of 1948.
Right. Told her to get her things out of her office by today while she's in San Francisco morning.
Because they were going to rekey the locks.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to rekey the lock. I mean, they're just disgraceful. There's no other word for it.
That's the same guy who gabbled out the vote yesterday and slammed that gavel against the table. Yep. I thought the thing was going to shatter into a million pieces. He was so mad, and it made me so happy.
Oh, hi. I'm here with sexy liberal John Fugelsang wearing my Los Angeles sexy liberal shirt. Oh, my God. We have an LA show coming up October 21st. But how else could you see it, John?
How else could you see it? I'm so glad you asked. For a limited time, you can see the show live via pay-per-view if you go to sexyliberal.com. All the laughs, you'll miss nothing.
I can stream it from all around the world?
All around the world, in your car, while you're driving. Watch it at home.
Sexyliberal.com, yeah.